Hey guys, what's up? It's Robbie with Open World Games, and we are going over 5 brand new unknown open world games you've probably never heard of. So we've got a ton to go over. So with that in mind, go ahead and use the description down below and skip ahead to the game you see, because we've got some that are futuristic, back then, and so much more. Even a police simulator that I just learned about. But let's dive into it, and let's do this!
I walk in a land of desperation.
So we're going to start out with Conan Exiles. It is an open world survival game in a world founded on swords, sorcery, and magic. Now this is definitely a survival game at heart, and like most survival games, you'll have to keep yourself warm with shelter and energized with food. Thankfully, the game will support both full-blown single-player and online play on public and private servers. You'll be able to team up with other players to build massive forts and challenge other survivors by raiding their settlements. Religions will also play a big part, which they hope to really distinguish this game from other open world survival games. You'll be able to sacrifice other players to please the gods. Oh boy. Of course, these gods will give you certain bonuses and perks along the way, but you'll have to fulfill a possibly grisly task to please them. You'll get better bonuses for sacrificing enemy players though, instead of just sacrificing your own. The game's combat system will be heavily influenced by, get this, the Dark Messiah of Might and Magic. Now that's a pretty good thing, because the combat system was pretty decent in that game as I remember. And I always thought that it would make for a great open world combat system. On the topic of combat, by the way, Funcom is also considering how gods might encourage players to approach combat in different ways, and of course Funcom is the developer on this game. For example, Darfarians are cannibals who eat flesh, so they aren't allowed to cut their enemies with sharp weapons. They have to beat people to death with clubs to make sure their meat stays tender. So that's the idea of what type of game Conan Exiles will be. Quite brutal indeed. Of course, there's more freedom to that than that. You can abandon your gods and all sorts of stuff. You can use basically any weapon you want, of course. Now, the game will first launch on Steam Early Access sometime this summer ahead of the full release, which will be available on consoles and PC at a later date. So stay tuned for more updates, guys, because this one looks like it could be promising. Now, this one is toting a very unique feature, and that is real aging and eventually dying in an open world. Chronicles of Elyria is an open-world MMORPG where your character ages and eventually dies. You'll have to consider your character's mortality as you play, because no matter what, death comes for everyone. You'll go through the process of birth, death, and rebirth, it seems. The goal is to essentially impact the world with your current character and build a living history. The game will be online and fully open world with a diverse array of things to do, including local, regional, and national conflicts. They're going big with this one. The game will not have any classes, but instead a skill-based system. Now, what I really love about this one is it has one of my favorite features from Fable 2, and that is the ability to run a family, buy land, and manage a home and town. But there is no set release date. Platform is currently on PC at the moment, but this one, keep your eyes on it because it could end up being something cool. Now, Worlds Adrift, this one looks very unique. It's a new MMO coming to PC. The game is eager to brag about its persistent world where when things change, they stay that way permanently. In other words, if one of your skyship crashes, the debris will remain forever. It's almost like Pirates of the Sky. You'll be roaming the near infinite world to gather up resources to further build up your ship. Now, you can go and recruit a crew of brave sky pirates, which are real players by the way, to take on daily challenges. The gameplay looks awesome as wingsuits and grappling hooks allow you to get around fragmented floating islands. Plus, expect some airship battles to play out with hundreds to thousands of players on the same server. The release date is sometime in 2016, first on PC. So moving on, we've got Glory. In Glory, the War of Apathy has sent the planet into the brink of disaster, and a global conflict erupts from it. Now, you'll be surviving on a different planet as what is called a Seeker, one of many explorers sent to find a home for humanity on a world that proves to be as ruthless as the one you left behind. The sprawling wastes of Faramore will test the limits of the Seekers, and they will learn that the universe is not as empty as they had believed. It's up to you and other Seekers to build a colony for the refugees from Earth and help humanity to find its glory. Now, Glory will feature a full-blown open world with online and other Seekers. The game supports up to 8 classes, allowing you to completely customize your armor and gear along the way. Of course, Glory is a full-blown RPG, but what really gets my attention is the fact that the studio is made of talent from Uncharted, Call of Duty, and Darksiders, so there's a ton of potential here. The Glory Alpha launches in 2016 for PC and other platforms. There's not really a specific date, but stay tuned here to Open World Games because I will have that info for you when it drops. Now, here is Police 1013. Police 1013 plans to bring a true police simulator to the online open world genre. This isn't going to be a game about killing the bad guys or going on kill streaks. You'll need to be restrained and act like a proper cop in a living, breathing city. You'll be experiencing the life of a police officer from the very beginning as a simple recruit and build your way up through your ranks through the training system until you get to the streets. It's not all high adrenaline car chases though, but there will be those, of course. You'll also need to know the general operating procedures to pull drivers over for breath analysis testing, car searches, and POI checks. Now, passing these tests are an essential part of being the best police officer you can be. You'll also become familiar with self-defense, tasing poor fools, pepper spray, and firearms training. My favorite would, of course, be the firearms training and the tasing. Your ultimate goal is to keep the citizens of Metro City safe from crime by patrolling the city in your patrol car, responding to various emergencies, and more. The game's development is quite interesting, by the way. They have a long way to go, apparently, and plan to make this into a 10-year franchise, releasing sequels along the way and building it up over time. It first comes to PC, then hopefully to console, but right now the game is very, very early in development. Stay tuned for updates. I'm going to keep my eyes on this one for you guys. So there you have it, 5 brand new open world games. Hopefully there's 1 or 2 or 3 that you have never heard of in this list. Some exciting times for open world games and game development in general, because it seems like there's a lot of companies out there that are popping up with the support of the gaming community. You know, you can kickstart something. Hopefully, of course, these games turn out as promised. That's the risk with kickstarted games and stuff like that. But a lot of these teams have some talented people behind them. So guys, I will definitely keep my eyeballs on these for you. Stay tuned here to Open World Games for more open world gaming goodness, and I will see you guys later.